friends, thanks for coming back to Dry Hollow Homestead. This is Danielle. Our conversation today is going to be a little bit different, maybe a little out there for most people. We're going to talk about Clabber. So what is Clabber? Clabber is soured milk. I know, it sounds crazy. It sounds like something you do not want in your kitchen. But this can be done with raw milk. And raw milk does not go bad. It just changes. It becomes different. Whenever you first milk the cow, you come in, you have warm milk. That is wonderful to drink. Our home was built in the 1700s, 1760s. My kitchen was probably added after that, but my living room was definitely the room and part of the building that was in the 1760s. So I know that in the 1760s, there was not refrigeration. And people had dairy animals. You got your dairy from either your neighbor that had a dairy cow or you had a dairy cow. That was pretty much the limit. If you didn't have a resource around you, you did not have dairy. So at that point in time, they would come in from milking their cow. They would drink fresh, raw, warm milk. They would, if they had a spring house or a cellar, they would try to chill it quickly and drink that cold. But whatever could not be used would become soured over time. It usually doesn't take long for milk to change. Raw milk, we're talking about very healthy, very sterile, not sterile, that's a bad word, clean raw milk that the animal has been very well loved and clean and taken care of. She is healthy. This is going to be, something that someone that owns a family milk cow is with them daily, multiple times a day usually. So we can really tell if there's anything different about our animal. We only usually have very few milk cows, 1, 2, maybe 3 at the most, but you are really next to them at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, depending on what point in their lactation. And you really get to know the health and the attitude and just the condition of your cow. And you can trust that they are healthy, that they are definitely something that you will eat and feel confident about consuming because they are so well cared for. So that is the milk I'm talking about. We're not talking about milk that has come from a huge dairy that you have not really had the connection with. So the raw milk, when it comes out, is body temperature, obviously. If you let that raw milk sit out at room temperature by itself, not messing with it, not adding anything to it, for 2 to 3 days, sometimes as long as 5 days, it kind of depends a little bit on the temperature of the room. But for me, it took 3 days to make my first Clabber from raw milk from my cow. Just brought it in. I always strain it off, put it in containers, and I let it set on the counter. That took, like I said, 3 days. And it was good, delicious. It actually has a very sweet smell to it. Make Clabber. This time I added just a big dollop of cultured buttermilk. And we did that in a video I can link in the cards. I showed you how to make cultured buttermilk. That's just an extra security blanket, not necessary. It does help to ensure that your good bacteria and good bacteria, the colony that you are causing to thrive, is a really healthy and delicious tasting one. So I put a big dollop in warm raw milk and stirred it up. I really, honestly, a dollop. I did not measure. Just don't put that extra stress into your life. And then I let that sit out on the counter. That actually made it go by a lot faster, and it gave it an even sweeter smell to it. So when people talk about sour milk, you think sour, like, ew, gross. It's not. If it's done properly, and you can adjust to the sourness that you like. Once it gets to the thickness. I had my neighbor come by. It's really embarrassing to be standing alone in your kitchen talking to your phone. It's okay. You're my friends, right? Where were we? So you know that it's clabbered when it's thick. Can you see that this is one solid huge mass? This has clabbered. It is delicious smelling. I wish you could smell, because that's what your body uses to tell you if something is good or not. So yeah, just give it a sniff. Now the cream, let me talk to you about that. When you are clabbering milk, for the recipes that I am making, so I have developed 2 that are tried and true and that I really enjoy doing. I want to come up with more, but as of right now, I'm just coming to you with the two that I know of, which is soda cheese, which is a very cultural thing. I think it's mostly just Mennonite around here. There might be recipes that just are called a different name. Around here, people call it soda cheese because it adds baking soda. It's different, but it's delicious. It's almost like a Velveeta, but with raw milk. So that's an interesting one. So, and cottage cheese. So when you have the cream come in thick at the top, you know, after you've cultured it, this is sour cream, literally sour cream. So you can scrape that off. It is not thick like sour cream that we make with a mesophilic culture, but this didn't cost me anything also. So, whoop. We're having all kinds of technical difficulties today. So for those recipes, I'm going to actually scrape this cream off because it doesn't come out in the finished product. The cream actually is in the way when we're hanging it and things, so I prefer to use that as sour cream. You do not have to do that. It's an extra step, not necessary at all. So this is actually, this has been sitting out for 3 days. This is its 3rd day. I need to do something with this because it's going to continue to get sour. This is the perfect amount of sourness that I like right now. So, I like Clabber. Let's call it Clabber instead of sour milk because sour milk sounds awful. This Clabber smells delicious right now. So I either need to make something with it, or because I live in the 21st century, is that what we're in? I don't even know. I can stick this in the fridge and it will not continue to get any more sour. This is 3 days old. This is actually only 2 days old. Not yesterday, but the day before. So this is the 2nd day. It is very thick already. I keep cultured buttermilk in my fridge at all time. I make a gallon of it. I make a gallon of it at a time and put it in 4-quart containers because it stays good in the fridge for a very long time, months and months, and I still use it for a starter or for pancakes or biscuits. So I really like having that in there. So I can always scoop out of that and start some of my Clabber with that. But if you do not, you can also do the same kind of process with a Clabber starter once it has gotten real good and thick. I've heard of people like feeding their Clabber and stuff. I haven't done that. Once it's gotten thick, I've put it in the fridge, wrote on it so nobody takes a big drink of it expecting regular milk and then taken that and started Clabber too. But the cultured buttermilk is something that I always have on hand, and it works even better, I feel like, because the Clabber kind of changes a little bit after a couple weeks, but cultured buttermilk always stays the same in the fridge. So once you have it to the amount of sour thickness you want, keep it in the fridge or go ahead and make some recipes. I want you to get started on some of this because I'm going to come out next with a video on how to make soda cheese. And this soda cheese is another beginner cheese. Other than using cultured Clabber like this, it just involves some butter, some salt, an egg, and baking soda. And it does not need a press. It's a soft cheese, but it is a very, it looks like a processed Velveeta cheese, but it has a very unique flavor. It's delicious. It's great in mac and cheese. I think that's my probably favorite thing to use for mac and cheese because my aged cheeses are kind of special, so I don't really want to use up that for mac and cheese. When I'm heating it up, I like to keep my raw cheeses raw as long as I can. So yeah, get a little brave. I would actually, this smells so good and sweet. I could take a spoon and eat it, no problem. That is a good indicator. Your nose is a great indicator of whether something should be eaten or it should not be eaten. So that is how you make a Clabber. So make some and come back with me, and we're going to make soda cheese and cottage cheese with our Clabber. God bless, and I'm hoping to come out with more videos on different things we can make with our Clabber, but that's where we're going to start. God bless, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.